Hello everyone, the MLG Skylander Man 360 here today, and today we are reacting to Powerpuff Girls Free For All, Episode 1 for Combo Breaker. This is probably an interesting ideal made of the most powerful one of the groups. I have to say, as I grew up watching this show, I remember the fact that Bubbles was the most kind and innocent, and while they did the reboot, and she does have her moment, I'm kind of like, what happened to the Bubbles? I remember. So, but for probably for the first episode, it is just going to be the classic girls, which kind of makes sense in any way. For Buttercup, I remember as her, she being the tough one, being the tomboy of the group. Yet, she does have a good temper and anger issues, and it's kind of been shown in the show. And Blossom, the leader of, which I almost consider almost definitely the leader of the group, which basically with her intelligence and with her strategies, she is really is a powerhouse with both of those combinations. As I said, all these girls are even, but they also have their own different powers. For instance, Bubbles, let me just go over that. She has basically the. I know she has her Screech. I know Blossom has laser eyes. And I know Buttercup is strong. Oh Lord, it has been a while since I watched the show. It's been a while, but this this one did stop me from watching the episode because now I really want to see how this will go. Anyway, without any further ado, let's begin the reaction. This is better.
He's a phantom. Combo breaker!
Sugar, spice, and everything nice. These were the ingredients chosen to create the perfect little girls. Professor Utonium accidentally added an extra ingredient to the concoction. Chemical X. Thus, the Powerpuff Girls were born. Using their ultra superpowers, Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup have dedicated their lives to fighting crime and the forces of evil. But today, I'm going to analyze their powers, strengths, weaknesses, weapons, armor, and skills to see who would win in a fight to the death. So let's meet our combatants for today. Blossom, the leader of the Powerpuff Girls and the brains of the team. Buttercup, the toughest fighter and the brawn of the group. And Bubbles, the joy and laughter of the team. So let's start the review off right with the leader of the team, Blossom. Alright, so all three of these girls have the same origin story, so I'm going to skip it because, I covered it in the intro. Sugar, spice, everything nice, blah, 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 chemical X. So let's start with Blossom's powers and abilities, and oh my god, does she have a bunch. She has your standard generic powers like super strength, super speed, flight, super stamina, and heat vision. But now for some more fun and badass powers that Blossom can do. Blossom can create pink energy laser blasts, create tornadoes, create fire, create lightning, and freeze people with her breath. Jesus. She even has an enhanced sense like Spider-Man that she calls her danger sense, and this allows her to dodge incoming attacks and with ease, and she even has enhanced hearing and sight. On top of all this, she has X-ray vision and night vision, which can help her in battle by allowing her to find her opponents with ease, no matter the circumstances. But let's see what all these powers have allowed her to do feats-wise. Check out her stats. Blossom is strong enough to harm him, who can destroy stars, and is strong enough to destroy a meteor that could have destroyed the Earth.
Damn.
As for speed, well, Blossom has flown to an asteroid belt and back in a matter of seconds, making her faster than light. And Blossom can casually lift a mountain very similar to Mount Everest. And Blossom is no slouch when it comes to tanking hits either, as she has fought him and the rowdy rough boys who are on par with her. And Blossom's stamina is near infinite, as she seems to never get tired. Blossom is incredibly smart, being the top of her class and a cunning strategist. Plus, she has a photographic memory, allowing her to remember small details, and she has a high intuition, coming up with great plans in the midst of battle. Man, Blossom seems kind of like an unstoppable machine of powers, but she does have some pretty notable weaknesses and can be beaten physically. She is weak to being tickled, also weak to Antidote X and sunburns, not to mention cooties, but a standard beatdown can also overpower her and stop her outright. So let's see if her sisters can stack up to this powerhouse. On to my favorite Powerpuff Girl of the group, Buttercup, the brawn and muscle of the group, who much prefers to punch her way through any situation. Alright, so a lot of her powers and abilities are going to sound pretty familiar because these powers are kind of shared between the three girls. So, I'll go over them anyway. Of course, she has super speed, super strength, and super stamina. She can fly and shoot heat vision. She also has energy projection and X-ray and night vision and super senses, being seeing and hearing. She can also create fireballs, tornadoes, and is invulnerable to extreme temperatures, and she also has lightning generation and green laser beams. Buttercup also has a crime sense and advanced intelligence. As for striking strength, Buttercup is able to harm him who can destroy stars, and she is faster than light and able to keep up with him. She is able to lift half a mountain casually, and she can tank hits from him and the Rowdy Rough Boys and continue fighting. Buttercup is also quite smart, but not quite as at the same level as Blossom. But even though Buttercup is a true powerhouse, she does have some severe weaknesses. Buttercup is very arrogant and stubborn, and can get extremely reckless if she gets angry. And she's also weak to sunburns and Anecdote X. So let's see if Bubbles can even stack up to her sisters. Bubbles, the joy and laughter of the team. Well, a lot of her powers are going to be also very familiar, but she does have a few unique powers, so let's go over them. Of course, she has her superhuman strength, speed, stamina, flight, and heat vision like the other girls. She also has the ability to breathe and survive in space just like the other two. She has energy projection, super senses being sight and hearing, night vision, tornado generation, fire generation, X-ray vision, invulnerability against extreme temperatures, supersonic screaming, which can stun her opponents if it lands and can even paralyze for short amounts of time, lightning bolt generation, blue laser beams, advanced intellect, intuitive aptitude, enhanced intuition, and a danger sense, and also a photographic memory. Wow, that's a lot of stuff, actually. So now let's see if her powers are actually worth anything by looking at Bubbles' stats and feats. Bubbles' strength is rather high, able to fight the Rowdy Rough Boys who are on par with their respective Powerpuff Girl. Bubbles is also faster than light and able to keep up with her sisters in combat. She has been able to tank hits from the Rowdy Rough Boys. She has above average intellect, but it's not very high. Bubbles also has some notable weaknesses such as sunburns, Anecdote X, and she is also very emotional and can easily be tricked. Alright, now I'm going to go figure out the results. Alright, after doing some calculations and figuring out the results, these are the rankings. In third place is the Joy and Laughter Bubbles. In second place, the Brawn and Muscle Buttercup. And in first, the leader Blossom. So let's go over why Blossom wins. First, let's see what advantages they hold over one another. Let's go stat by stat. Strength-wise, Buttercup is the strongest and is able to harm him, who has shown to be the physically strongest in the Powerpuff Girls universe in multiple cases. However, Blossom is not far behind in this category. However, it should be noted Blossom can lift twice the amount that Buttercup can casually. Speed goes to Buttercup, who is faster than Blossom and Bubbles, but not by very much. Durability is next, and this is really a null and void category as they are all around star level durability. Power-wise, they all have about the same power, but Bubbles takes the powers category with her sonic screams, which can stun and paralyze opponents. Intelligence goes to Blossom, being the top of her class and the one who comes up with all the plans during most of their fights. So then why does Blossom win if Buttercup holds most of the advantages? You're probably typing in the comments, at least you would be if anybody was watching this. But the answer to that is this, my friend. Blossom wins because all the advantages Buttercup had weren't that big, and really Blossom wasn't far behind in all of them. But then it hit me that Blossom is a genius. And she understands her sister. She knows her weaknesses. She knows to anger Buttercup and make it so she doesn't think about what she's doing. And she could easily stop Bubbles stats-wise. So really, there's no reason that Blossom shouldn't win. However, Buttercup could win in some scenarios. But our winner is Blossom. Next time on Combo Breaker. Marvel's Big Green Bruiser, the Incredible Hulk, versus DBZ's Big Green Bruiser, the legendary Super Saiyan Broly.
You know, I actually can't think about that because with it, I could really see that being the possibility that since Blossom does know her sisters and pays attention to both of the characters, she would have more of the advantage of taking on the fight. And the fact she can use their own weaknesses against them, which is really scary because you realize Being the leader, you would have more tactics to know all your siblings' moves and defenses. And you basically would have the ability to manage to take them out during the whole fight. I have to say, this would be the most possible case for the Powerpuff Girls. But anyways, if you enjoyed that reaction, please like, comment, and subscribe. I know I didn't say much, but I really wanted to see what he had to say because I actually did like how that can be turned into it. And it really turned out pretty well for me. It was actually good to actually see where the fight would have gone. But anyway, I will see y'all later. Peace.